On today's episode, we will be discussing how village life differs from city life, but
Oh,
predominantly in India.
I love village life. Hi everyone, welcome to TalktousToday. Simrit, I grew up predominantly in a city, as you know, but my parents' family was from a village in Haryana. And they are like different parts of Haryana where there's a lot of cultural difference as well, and the difference in the land and the kind of farming they do. So my vacations has been spent, at these different locations. And my mom,
Wow.
she made sure we got the full village experience. She wanted us to know how to do everything in the village, from milking the cows to cutting the wheat, from making
Wow.
butter to making cow dung cakes, going
Oh
to,
my God. No way. You
yes,
actually did it.
yes,
This is a big part of rural life here,
yeah.
right?
I
Yeah.
was a child and I did that out of excitement, curiosity, or whatever. I did that. I remember that very clearly. And
Oh God.
I also remember going to the well where they'll pull out water, bathing the buffaloes and cows.
Oh
there was
my God. You've had like a real
I would,
like
and
you
then
really lived
yes, and the
life.
village ladies would gather there with their buckets of clothes. They'll just wash clothes over there, right around that well. And on the other side, the people are bathing cows. And then later going with the ladies also to the fields, to the house ladies. They would sometimes they have if they have a lot of clothes to be washed, like bed sheets and everything. They would go to the tube wells, the fields where it is there, and there they would
Motors, yeah.
wash the clothes and we will just take baths. And then in the meanwhile, when we feel a little hungry, we will just go and grab some vegetables or fruits grown on the field right there. We grab a watermelon, just break it and just eat it right away. So that kind
Wow.
of rustic, like. So
Very rustic.
yes, and I treasure what my mother instilled in me. Totally, I treasure it. And some of my fondest memories and are being from the village during our holidays, and with all the cousins and aunts and uncles eating together, big whole setup. It's amazing, Simrit. And there was no electricity at times.
You
With the
sound
whole
so
day,
nostalgic. Yeah.
the whole day there were no electricity, and we were just playing something or the other. They were not board games. They used to draw the
Right.
board games on the floor with the chalk, and then they would play with those sticks and all. I mean, that's amazing. I still cherish those memories a lot.
Unbelievable. Like what you're talking is properly rustic,
Oh
like
yes.
proper village. Like so, as I mentioned before, I'm a total city girl, right? The silly and city, the city girl. The bigger the better. Like I was born in Edmonton, Canada, and for me, that's a way smaller, less populated, slower paced than Delhi is where I live now. So I consider Edmonton my village, but it's one of the biggest cities in Canada. So my concept is really different. My
Canada ka gaon
grandparents,
hai wo. It's like, is that what you
I mean,
call it?
there's,
The village of Canada? One of the village
yeah,
kind of
well, it's not because villages in Canada are also, comparatively rustic compared to the cities. Nothing like you're mentioning, I don't think so. But
yeah.
yeah, you do your own household chores. Like my grandparents and us, we lived together in Delhi, but they did have a family home in the village. But I think I went there once or twice and they sold it early on. So it wasn't like none of us really went there. And I was truly introduced to village life when I got married, but I'm talking about much older and absolutely nothing like what you've mentioned. My husband's family has some agriculture land in Punjab, and it's a typical village. So now I go there a couple of times a year, and my son loves it there. But we don't give him the experiences you're talking about. Sorry.
I don't give
So
that experience to my kids now. So
you should. But so
it's
for our
it's a
international
different
viewers,
experience, but yeah. Hmm.
sorry.
It's a different experience with some filters. It is there.
Yes, and with some filters, right? So, for our international viewers, India has some of the largest cities in the world, like Mumbai, Delhi, Bengaluru, but 60% of our population still lives in our villages and small towns. And life is extremely different than Indian metropolitan cities.
So much so, Simran, that we have a huge influx of migrants from the villages to the cities on a regular basis to for the employment. And opportunities are much higher in cities as villages rely mainly on agriculture and farming for income. But it also causes more drain on our resources. And then
in the
nowadays
cities.
we are getting many city dwellers who are looking towards the rural part for a vacation or a break. I'm very strongly of this opinion that if you want to go for a break, go away from the cities. Go out
Yeah,
somewhere where there's no touch of city life there. It has to be a little rustic. So that's why we always try to go to a farm, which is away. It's like in the middle of nowhere. There's even village also was like is like far away. And where I asked my and then they have buffaloes and cows and their whole fields are there. Their goats are there. So they enjoy. They just love. They're fascinated by the whole idea. Oh wow, you
absolutely.
know. No time. There's no structure. They're playing in the sand. My dog is playing. They're playing cricket with those dwellers over there are the people who lives
So
around those.
nomadic, yeah.
Yeah,
Shopping,
and
yeah,
they
once.
would just literally in those they play cricket with them and then new game they'll teach them and they would play cricket with a stick. Can you imagine stick and a cloth ball that they made out of the those torn cloths. They would, and that's what my mom, wow, this is so amazing. Like, yes, this is something. And food wise, nothing like they would have like anything, even simplest of the food they'll enjoy. Mama, this is so tasty. It's like, well, this is it just everything together is making it tasty. So, I always feel it's always good to get that rustic life experience that
Right,
kids should have, or I mean, anybody should have. So it's
right.
amazing to look for such vacations.
So, Namita, think about it. It just makes perfect sense. Why do we go on vacation? We all go on vacation to get out of our routine. And especially for people like us who live in huge cities, what is routine?
Hmm.
Extremely hectic lives, traffic jams,
Yeah.
crazy schedules. Whereas what happens in smaller towns and villages, right?
Yeah.
Relaxed, slow paced lives, do away with schedules. We do things when we want to do them. We can
Exactly.
walk to the shops instead of fighting traffic in our cars. In the
Yeah.
villages, you're always closer to nature. So for a walk to the fields, to the river, to the hills, you're bound to be near one of these outdoor, unrestricted environments for sure. And
Yes.
in most developed countries, it also means being in an unpolluted environment, right? When you get away from the cities, seeing less of concrete jungles is not just a bliss for the mind, but for the eyes as well. Your
Oh, yes.
eyes feel so much like, tranquil, like feeling like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So, but I so much want that break right now. The moment we're talking about it. And I totally agree with you. We don't need a vacation to go to another version of our own city. Village life
Absolutely.
gives us respite from the ordinary. And I read that. Even I would not say read that. I felt that, experienced that. Even a 2 week of break from a city can boost your mental and physical health.
Absolutely.
In
Agreed.
cities, people are more prone to stress, anxiety, and health problems due to those fast-paced lifestyles and pollution. And because villages
Yeah.
have a cleaner, healthier environment, our bodies and mind relax, and that promotes
Yeah.
overall well-being. So there's more
Yeah.
walking and hiking, and air is cleaner, so the lungs get a break from breathing in all the toxic air. And but the downside is that most of the small towns and villages do not have access to good health care in case of emergency. That is
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
always feel.
And absolutely, you know what? You're right. And that does become a problem. So let's not romanticize everything, right?
Yeah.
Especially if someone's living in the village, good healthcare, for get good health there, they have to travel far. But now there's a flip side to that as well. I mean, of course, it's not for somebody who has an emergency, right? But on the other side, it's in that most villages and small towns, the community is very strong. So, like, since the populations are smaller, everyone knows each other. There's a strong sense of togetherness. In case of emergencies or sicknesses, people look out for one another and help each other a lot. I've seen it myself. Like in cities, because we tend to like lead more nuclear lives, and we live in our own cocoons, there's no pooling of personal resources. Like you can't go to your neighbor and say, "Oh my God, I've got a flat tire. I'm just taking yours around the corner." No, you can't do that. And although it's a strong word, but many city folk become quite self-centered. Whereas in the rural communities, there's a sense of shared community living. The saying that like it takes a village to raise a child, that's because the village does raise a child. Your children are common, like, oh, just leave them. Yeah, hey, just keep an eye on them. That
Um,
kind of it. great. Your cars, in case somebody has to go to the hospital, you don't need to worry about your own car. Somebody's is parked, you just go over and say, we know you too. And it's also like, it's so cool when you're walking in the village in the evenings, you can smell what people are eating around or cooking. And I've seen this in our village. Like the women will make one thing and the other woman will make another thing. And then they just share, like a chame, dal, and you send the sabzi and we'll make it's really nice.
Yeah.
And ordering in on food apps or just ask your neighbor what's over,
what you've cooked.
It's really
Absolutely, Simrit. Whatever you're saying, I can relate it to. I saw that, while growing. And, one thing I also feel that entertainment is also quite basic. You go to the religious temples or churches or, other places, or there's a common Batak also. There's some or the other event going on.
like a community center, right?
Exactly.
Like a community center.
Yes. And if there's a fair or a festival, everyone puts on the best clothes, goes together excitedly, and you get used to those, excursions. And in the cities, we have a huge variety of entertainment options like movies or malls or restaurants or clubs and so on. And it sounds great, but we have also forgotten the simple comforts of just sitting around in the house and being with our families. Right?
Absolutely.
So that is what I feel is very, very important. And doing those simple, meaningful daily chores together. I remember growing up, okay, after everybody ate their food, all the kids would go and wash the dishes. Well, one is putting the soap, the other one is washing, and other one is stacking them back. So it's so much, fun doing all that. So it's all.
And not only that, it gives meaning. It gives meaning to the children. Like, you have to be part of the community. It gives meaning to your life too.
Yeah, absolutely. And the excitement is more when your outings are fewer. We're all used to going out, and it hardly feels like you're actually gone out. We keep doing.
Yeah, because people it's very unfortunate. I mean, our children go out so much that it's not even a treat for them anymore, is it?
Exactly. Yes.
Like they take it for granted. I mean, I feel that.
In fact, even the timings of living in a village are very different. Everyone wakes up earlier, and at the crack of the dawn, as they say, and then they sleep earlier. Unlike us, who stay awake till like wee hours and then ruin our health further. And in the morning, you say mandir aarti is going on in the village, and
yes,
it's light.
I have to tell you, it's very interesting because when I got married, I had no idea. And so for all our international viewers, again, what happens in Indian villages is our temples, our religious, Hindu Sikh temples or the mosque, we have speakers, loud speakers put on. And in the morning, the way we wake up is that the head priest is on the mic, and we're not talking about like 6:30. We're talking about 3:30, 4:30. I was like, oh my God, what is this? I never experienced this. And I could tell it's like our prayers, our Sikh prayers. I'm like, what is that? What is it? Like 4 a.m. My husband goes, I wake him up. I'm like, what is going on? And he's like, oh yeah, there's cotton mixed. Oh my God. It's loud. It's loud, guys. And so, it's a traditional way of waking up with the, with prayers.
Yeah. And the traditional way of life, when we rely on our religious and cultural gathering, gives us more personal strength. And one doesn't feel isolated. And right.
You don't feel so isolated. You feel like a part of the community. Absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah.
But let's not romanticize living in the village completely, like we said earlier. There are lack of opportunities. There's lack of educational facilities. And as we mentioned before, like lack of good healthcare. What we should do is, that's a different discussion, but how we can help, the village life get out. But to get out of our rut, it's wonderful to go for a rural retreat to the back of beyond and slow down our pace once in a while. In fact, now there are many great village homestays across India, right? And you've stayed in a few, and I've heard of many. And you should all try to go and visit them, get a break, wake up and watch the sunrise, breathe in that beautiful fresh air, walk to the local market, eat the local, enjoy the tranquil surroundings, and come back completely fresh. At the end of the day, it is your personal preference and need which determines what you like more, village or city life. No place in the world is perfect, and no place is like, a haven.
Well, that's all on TalkTous today, but we look forward to hearing from you all. Please tell us what you think about our today's episode in the comment section, or you can email us at hello@talktoustoday.com. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and
Absolutely.
hit the bell icon to stay notified of our new videos every Friday at 6 p.m. Thanks for joining us on Talk to Us today. Remember to talk about Talk to Us today. Keep smiling.
Keep laughing. And keep talking. Thank you guys. Thank you for joining us.